Welcome to the holiday edition of WakeMed and the Poe Center's cooking collaboration. My name is Alicia Doscheller, and I'm an education specialist with WakeMed's Corporate and Community Health. Also with me from WakeMed is Monica Krause, our nutritionist and registered dietitian. And we also have special guest, executive chef Chris Zebny.
Hello.
Who specializes in plant-based cuisine. We're here at the Poe Center, and joining us from the Poe Center, we have health educator Kim Major Walker. We're here at the Poe Center, which is a nonprofit health education center located in Raleigh near WakeMed's main campus. The Poe Center offers effective programming to schools and community organizations all across North Carolina in topic areas such as nutrition and physical activity, family life, general health, dental health, substance use, and bullying prevention. Today, for our holiday meal, we're gonna make a special holiday dish that takes a twist on an old favorite, Butternut Squash Mac Cheese. Chef Chris will lead us in preparing this flavorful vegan recipe that will be paired with a seasonal infested Brussels sprout salad. So let's get started.
Okay, so for the butternut squash mac and cheese, the first step is going to be to cook the squash. So, which is really simple. All we're going to do is we got some pre-diced butternut squash here, and we're going to put that in our pot. It's better to cut up small so it just cooks more evenly. You could roast it in the oven as well, but this is going to give it that nice smooth texture by boiling it. And we're going to add some pre-chopped onions. White onion is good. And we're just going to simply cover that with water until it almost reaches the top. You don't want to add too much water because it'll take a lot of the flavor away. And we're also going to reserve some of the cooking liquid to puree it nice and smooth. That's going to take about 30 minutes or so, maybe 20, just depending on how high it is. And then we're just going to cool it down before we puree it up. Today for the pasta, we have some pasta which I've pre-cooked. There's all sorts of pastas you can use. There's corn pasta these days. There's pasta made from beans and legumes. You also have whole wheat pasta. So any type of pasta we'll use. We just used a simple basic macaroni today. I think I used the spirals, but a simple macaroni or a penne or any kind that you want to use is good. We're checking on our squash now. It's been about 20 or 30 minutes. Okay, so in here we have our squash, we got our onions, and we got some of the reserved cooking liquid. So to that we're just going to add a little bit of turmeric, and this is going to give it some color. Turmeric also helps with like inflammation, helps with your joints, but really this is just used for color today. We also have a little bit of nutmeg, which is just going to add a little bit more savoriness to it. You could leave this out, but it's going to add a little bit of a nutmeg tone. So nutmeg goes good in like cheese sauces and stuff, so that's kind of why we're using this. We're going to put a little bit of garlic powder in here. It's going to give it a little bit more savoriness. We've got some cashew butter. You could use raw cashews. But this is going to add a little bit of protein, give it a little bit more structure, and give it a little bit more of a savory flavor as well. Once again, you could leave this out. You could use almond butter. You could use peanuts might actually work good. I know that sounds a little bit funny. And then we got some smoked paprika, and this is going to give it also a little bit more color, and also going to give it some smoky flavor to kind of cover up the butternut squash and everything else that is in there. Okay, so we're going to turn this on, and you definitely want to make sure it's cooled down before using these type of blenders. And I recommend a vitamin mix just because it's going to make it extra smooth and give it that smooth, creamy texture for a mac and cheese. So there we have it. It only takes a couple minutes to do that. And this is like a pot mac and cheese, but if you wanted to make it ahead of time, like the day before, you could also bake it. It doesn't have any cheese on top, so that's kind of why you're doing it in a pot, so it kind of just heats up evenly and it doesn't get kind of crusty on the top. But if you wanted to add cheese to this recipe, I mean, be my guest. Parmesan goes really good with butternut squash, but kind of going for a super healthy mac and cheese today, so we're leaving the cheese out. So we're just going to put that back in the pot. Got our pre-cooked pasta here. And all we're going to do here is just heat this through, and it's going to be ready to go. Definitely want to heat this type of thing up to 165. just to make sure we're using food safety. Food safety is always very important. So 165 is always pretty much the way to go. And you can see that it looks just like mac and cheese. So they probably won't even know the difference initially. And there you have it. We're gonna make our Brussels sprout salad. And first thing we want to do is make our dressing for the salad. So first thing we want to put in there is we have a couple tablespoons of garlic powder. And I like using garlic powder for dressings just because it lasts a little bit longer. It's really easy to work with, and it just kind of mixes in a little bit better than fresh garlic. We've got a couple tablespoons of Dijon mustard, and this is going to kind of help hold everything together. Also give it a little bit of mustardy flavor. We've got some salt and pepper. I like to use cracked pepper for this. Gives it a little bit more of a bite. We've got some lemon juice in here.
Should I mix it now?
Yeah, you could start stirring it. Apple cider vinegar. And if you wanted to use orange juice instead of apple cider vinegar, that goes good as well with all the other ingredients we have. We've got some honey here, and this is going to help balance everything out, kind of bring everything together as well. Because raw greens are very savory, so a lot of times when adding sugar to them, it helps them make it taste a little bit better. So once you got in there, you just want to kind of drizzle in your oil. Kind of want to do it slow, but then again, it doesn't really matter because we're going to toss the greens in with the dressing as well. So for this salad, what I like to do just to kind of present it is here we have some raw Brussels sprouts which have been cut thin and kind of shaved. If you didn't want to do Brussels sprouts, any lettuces will do. You got kale, you got arugula, mesclun greens. Romaine goes good with this salad, but this is definitely going to give it a lot more fiber, a lot more crunch. And Brussels sprouts are very similar and seasonal in the winter time. So we've got some tongs. So this is how I'd present this. Instead of putting everything in the bowl, mixing it up all together, we're going to get a nice decorative bowl, and we're going to toss our dressing in the Brussels sprouts. So like I said, to present this, we're going to get a nice bowl. I'm going to toss up our Brussels sprouts in there. Put those in the bowl first. Kind of flatten it out, thank you. And then we're just going to kind of top everything off in the salad. That way you can kind of see what's in there, and then people can kind of pick and choose what they want. So I have some feta cheese here. Blue cheese would also be good. Cheddar goes good, but the white with the red kind of makes it kind of festive, and the green. So we've got the cranberries. We've got some pomegranates here. If you didn't like pomegranates, because sometimes pomegranates have a lot of seeds in them, you could use dried apricots. You could just leave them out totally. Just go with the cranberries and the apples. Plums are good. It's all sorts of fruits that you could use. But the fruit mixed with the cheese and the greens and the walnuts gives it like nice crunch and gives it kind of, you get your cheesiness, you get your vegetables, you get your fruits all in one dish. And then we have some walnuts here which we toasted up. Just kind of put those on top. And then you kind of bring it to the table like that, so that way they could kind of get what they want, and of course they could see what's in there as well. So this is our Brussels sprout salad, and it's a good side dish that you can make ahead of time, and it just goes good with like the Christmas, Thanksgiving meal.
So butternut squash mac and cheese is a healthy twist on our regular mac and cheese that the whole family can really enjoy. And what's great is it gets this beautiful orange color from the beta carotene from winter squash. Butternut squash is loaded with beta carotene, and beta carotene really promotes skin health, vision health. It's also really high in fiber and potassium. And the interesting thing about butternut squash, we always think of bananas when we think of potassium, but butternut squash actually provides much more potassium than a banana. So using butternut squash is a great way to get potassium. When it comes to the salad, as you can see, it's beautiful colors, and the more color we get in our food, usually the more nutrients it has, and it makes it more enjoyable to eat. The Brussels sprouts provide a lot of vitamin C, vitamin K, and fiber. And then pomegranates, something that many of us don't use regularly, provide a lot of antioxidants also. Again, the more color in the food, the brighter the color, a lot of times has more antioxidants. And then we have the walnuts, and walnuts are high in omega-3 fats and high in protein. So walnuts will help to fill you up, and they are a great addition to a salad because they're giving you that protein, they're giving you that healthy fats in the salad. So enjoy this healthy holiday meal.
Thank you for joining us for the holiday edition of the WakeMed and Poe Center cooking collaboration. The total cost of today's meal was about $25 and could serve up to 4 people. You can get the recipes at the end of this video or by visiting pohealth.org under Kitchen and Cooking Resources. If you'd like more information about WakeMed's corporate and community health services for work sites, including biometric screenings, health coaching, nutrition counseling, and more, visit wakemed.org. Thanks again for joining us, and happy holidays.